I mean,
Well, I mean, I tell you, there was a couple of drivers that I drove with and against that went through all that nonsense, and the more nonsense they went through, the less successful they were. I think they can get lost in a bit of that, to be honest with you. I mean, the Americans were probably pretty well in there for doing their pulse and all that bloody nonsense. And what are you going to do if your pulse is not right? You're not going to hop in the car? But also the fact that you would probably go to the trouble to ask an engineer or a mechanic to keep an eye out for you and tell you on the radio whether to move up a bit or stop. I've been saying this for a while, Peter, and it's actually getting worse. I mean, there's another driver, which no name's no pack drill, that goes into almost like a bloody ballet before he hops in the car. And they all listen to music, I mean, that's fine, whatever revs them up, whatever turns them on. But, whatever happened to just getting, head down and arse up and getting on with it.
and what was your pre-race routine, Alan?
Anna Foster's. No. No, I just, I never used to eat on race day. I used to have coffee in the morning for breakfast. I'd have some sausages about an hour before the race, which that consists of salts and minerals and fats, which gave you more or less the same sort of energy as a meal, but it didn't mean that you had solids in your stomach, which I was always told to believe that wasn't always a good idea, in case you had to have anaesthetic or be operated on. Preferably you have like an empty stomach, but I used to just have the sausage an hour before I hopped in the car, and apart from that I would just sit in the motorhome or whatever, or if I had any friends, have a bit of a talk with them, and that's about it.
If you think about it now, how would you have driven had you been doing juggling and reflex testing 5 minutes before you got in the car, or 1 minute before you got in the car? Do you think that would have been a good thing now, looking back? Well, not.
No, I honestly don't believe so. I mean, at the end of the day, I probably had the opportunity to do all that sort of stuff, but I would find it more of a bloody distraction more than anything else, to be honest with you. I mean, you'd have a bit of a concentration of where you think you're going to place your car, and you just go through maybe a couple of possibilities, but that was about it. I mean, I used to sort of shy away from all of that sort of nonsense. Well, it's still physical exertion, it's still mental exertion. You've still got to work out what you're going to do when the lights go out. You've still got to pass people. In that particular area, things haven't changed much at all. But I was a bit confused myself, Peter, to be honest with you. I think it was a little bit of procrastination from both of them. I think really both of them were a bit preoccupied about not hitting each other or touching each other, and as a consequence, they sort of both braked a bit early, as far as I'm concerned. They're all scared to have a go at the gap in case some steward determines the gap is not wide enough, or like if you've got a gap and you think you can have a go, have a go. I mean, it's getting to the stage there where they're holding back too much because of any sort of filming or whatever that may occur that the stewards may deem to be driving dangerously as opposed to having a go. Well, I hate to keep saying in my day because it can sound like an old fogey, but I mean, in my day, that was called breaking the toe. I mean, at the end of the day, you can have a weave as long as it's not dangerous, as long as you're not banging wheels. I mean, if the guy in front of you is weaving, you have a bit of a guess as to which way he's going to weave next and go the other way. I don't believe there is anything wrong with it. I mean, if he's all over the bloody place, and also I stress that if he's getting lapped, that's a totally different situation. But if you're actually racing for a position, which in this day and age is very rare, I think he's entitled to sort of, shall we say, guard his position or defend his position. Well, I think it's been quite interesting to see them come up through the ranks. They're almost parallel, aren't they? I mean, I think they're both very talented. To which one I think is more talented, I don't really know. But they're both extremely talented young blokes, and I think that England's got a couple of good future world champions in both of them. Well, it's strange, isn't it? Because, like, he always qualifies extremely well, and a lot of the times he does out-qualify Lewis, but I don't know, he just doesn't seem to be able to race. He's not as aggressive in the racing as he is in qualifying. I just think he needs to get a bit more aggression about it, to be honest. You know, good old Brett, and you're one of them, Pete, so don't take it personally, but they do like to build things up a little bit. I mean, I never really came to fisticuffs or even foul words with Carlos. I mean, at the end of the day, I expressed my displeasure at what happened in Brazil, and I left it at that. But at no time during the season did I ever block him or do anything untowards. And I always found him to be a good teammate in as far as he was always very polite, courteous, very quick, and always, you know, drove me to do my best. But I really wish him the very best. I really wish him a speedy recovery. I mean that sincerely.